Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So I have my 2023 F-150 Lightning. I know a lot of folks have questions about what's the actual highway range. And my truck is fairly new to me, and I wanted to know kind of what can I get in typical conditions on the highway. So I'm going to do a little test this morning, set the nav. I just want to take a look here. You can see in the background there, or in the foreground, that's Route 2 here in Connecticut where I live. I've done a little trip. I went over to a destination some distance from the house. I've got the nav set to a destination that's about 38 miles from where I am right now. And what I'm going to do, I've reset the trip information to 0. And by the way, as everybody calls them, the triple meters or the guessometers, mine has proved to be very, very accurate. I did this drive this morning. It was originally about 40 miles from our house to where I stopped. And I basically lost 40 miles of range in a 40-mile trip. So this thing was incredibly accurate. But anyway, just want to show you we're at 0 miles per kilowatt hour. This trip's going to be 38 miles. It's going to be basically all highway. And I'm going to report back to you once I get the figures on kind of how it's done on the highway. My guess from what I've heard from others is something in the 2 miles to kilowatt hour to 2.2 to 1.8, depending on speed. My test is going to be run at 70 miles an hour. So just to give you a benchmark. So more on that in a minute. So just as a reminder, this is a 2023 Lightning XLT. It's a standard range. It's got the max tow and it has the 9.6 kilowatt onboard generator. So I'm going to take it. I am driving it myself alone. Again, we're going to jump on the highway right there. Okay, got the cruise set. Early on, it's 1.1 mile per kilowatt hour, but that's because I literally just took off. I had to go up a big on-ramp and get up to highway speeds. But we've just embarked on our trip, and I'll give you the results when we get a little closer to home of just this. And again, this is a very short-term test, but I thought 30 miles was a good span of time to just get a sense of what we got going on. So I'll let you know when we get closer. Thanks. Okay, so we're pretty close to our destination. I just wanted to tune back in and kind of show you sort of where we ended up. So we've traveled pretty close to we've done 34 miles, so 34 out of 38. You can see on the timer there, 36 minutes it took. So if you calculate that out, there were 2 interchanges from highway to highway that were either clover leafs or just regular ramps. But the result you can see there, 2.3 miles per kilowatt hour. Now, a few things. I had the cruise set to 70. You can actually see I still have it set there. I maintained 70 the vast majority of that time. The reason for the additional minutes before it took me a second to get the video running after I stopped, but B, in my town, I hit a stoplight and a couple other things before I got here. So I can tell you the vast majority of the trip, the meter was actually reading 2.2 miles to kilowatt hour. Now, some parameters that I want to share with you. One, just so you know, I was running the fan, but not the air conditioning. Again, just me in the truck, no load in the bed. And another thing that I picked up off the forums, and for folks that don't have the truck, one of your choices is drive modes. One thing I learned is sport mode for me in practical, day-to-day use. Sport mode tends to be the most efficient way to drive, which is crazy. I would have thought that normal, we have an e-Golf, which if you're interested in Volkswagen e-Golf, by all means watch those videos too. But in our e-Golf, normal versus sport, obviously normal is more efficient. In the F-150, what I'm finding is the regen is so much better in sport. Now, you also have, and I don't want to get too deep in this because this doesn't apply to this, but you also here have the choice for one-pedal driving. I have not had a lot of success with that. That makes the regen crazy. But anyway, back to the original parameters. So you got a single passenger in the truck, fan running but not air conditioning, no heated seats running, the radio on, of course, and I'm sport mode. and almost all highway, and I was set to exactly 70 miles an hour. And I can tell you, on all the highway driving, really, I never have this experience, but I literally sat at 70 basically the entire trip. There was not traffic that impeded my speed or anything like that, so there wasn't a lot of slowing down, speeding up, any of that stuff. So this is very unscientific, but it kind of confirmed what I thought was the case. It seemed to be somewhere between 2.1 and 2.2 miles per kilowatt hour. One thing I do want to point out also, just for your edification, we ended at an elevation of 171 feet. So just as a reminder, we started at 200. So we literally went ever so slightly downhill. Here in Connecticut, it's very hilly, so I was up and down hills. I think those kind of negate each other, right? Because you're expending extra energy to go up the hill, but at the same time, you're regenerating coming down. Listen, very unscientific, but I know when I was looking at these, I was trying to get a good sense. I think realistically, with 4 people and maybe some luggage, I think about 2 miles per kilowatt hour. And oh, by the way, and you see there, 77 degrees is current temperature, right? So I'm at summertime temperatures, again without that climate control. So I think reasonably in summer with the AC on, again, I think about 2 miles per kilowatt hour is probably what you would see. But I wanted to know the answer, and I thought you might also. So if you have any questions about this, by all means, post questions. I'm happy to respond to you. Comment. Please like this video. I'm trying to release a lot more on this truck, but I'm available to offer you any input. If you're considering the purchase of one of these, don't be afraid. I love talking about this truck, and I can shoot a video for whatever you're interested in. And also subscribe. A lot more content coming. Just all sorts of stuff, from charging at Tesla superchargers to traveling longer distance with the truck, to payload, to bed. I've got one I just released on the factory Ford drop-in bed liner, which seems simple, but there's some things you might want to know there. I do a great review on the tonneau cover that I chose. So please tune in and subscribe. I've got a lot more coming, and always appreciate your support, and have a great day.